just quick, I mean, when I met Shimrit, it was kind of amazing. We just kind of connected. I don't even know how it all happened, but I was in the beginning of like a big transition that I didn't know about, but I had already started on this journey of wanting change and wanting to set a goal that I had never really done before. I had just read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and that really kind of struck a chord with me. But I didn't know what to do with it. And Shimrit kind of just came into my life, and it all worked out really well. The timing, I had been working for a job. I'd been at the same in the same business in news for 25 years, and I just started thinking, I want something else. I want to get out. I want to start my own business. I want to do something else. And so Shimrit, she helped me form a goal. She helped me understand why it's important to form a goal. And then the program itself is just, it's so good. It's all the stuff that you can read about in these great books. Like, she goes through all the things, but she kind of walks you through and breaks down all the different parts of about how things work in the universe and your spirit and thinking, and how thinking is so much of the results we get. And she takes us through the program of how to like implement it, which I don't know how I would have done that without the program. It's sort of like a school or a tool to help you get through some of this stuff that's very complicated. It's very simple, but yet very complicated because of the paradigms that we all have. It's been life-changing for me. It's my whole just like mindset. I mean, we're all working towards success and these goals and all that, but really it's been helping me feel good on a daily basis. And you have your ups and downs, but I've been able to kind of train my brain, and it's been a real kind of path for me to follow. And Shimrit has been there throughout as sort of like the guide. When you hit a patch and you're not sure what it means or whatever, but it's just this great recipe of a program that Bob Proctor worked on for decades and decades. He was obsessed with breaking it down for people like us so we can understand it. And then Shimrit is sort of like your tour guide to take you through and help you on this journey. So I've seen crazy results and success in just a short amount of time. I'm only halfway through the program, and I'm still catching up, and the good thing about it is that you can do it live, which is a very good vibe. And like, it kind of sets the tone for the week. And if you can't, it's okay too, because it's there forever and you can watch them, and they're just so helpful. And it's I've learned so much just tricks and tips from Shimrit, on the side of what she does, because she's sort of like an expert in this stuff. And so things that I just found so invaluable that will help you. So, but yeah, I've seen, just not even in the results that I've been getting, but in just how I feel, like a lot of the fear and feeling good is becoming more normal than it ever has for me. So yeah.
That's amazing. And feeling is a result. That's the thing that because of our paradigm, we tend to look at physical things like, I don't know, my money to buy this, or the house that I live in, or the job, or my paycheck, or my scan, right? Of whatever doctor check that you get. These are results, but how we feel is a result. And whatever it is that we want it anyway, so we can feel good. Otherwise, why would we want anything? And so it is our paradigm that makes us that gets us to make that differentiation and put a good feeling on a different kind of scale or a different category. But really, it's the highest purpose is to feel good. That's the highest purpose. And anything else that we want, whether it's money, physical health, relationships, success, in any shape and form, is for the purpose of feeling good. It is the highest purpose.
Yeah.
And so that's so amazing that you can share and show evidence for others that this is possible, that this can become a norm to feel good. And thank you so much for talking about, Think and Grow Rich and the books, and how, because there's a tendency, we have so much information, we have access to everything, obviously books, and then also videos and podcasts and live workshops like this, and like free workshops, and so, it's just so abundant. And yet there's a difference, right? There's a difference between reading a book or attending a live workshop or doing something on that level and really committing, really going into a container that goes deep and that really gets you to commit also. Like there's the commitment aspect of it too. So maybe you can talk a bit even more on that. Like what's the difference? I mean, you touched on that, but maybe we can go a bit
think so. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what's really key. And so, when I started, I kind of hit a low point, like a very bad, like, everyone kind of hits like rock bottom sometimes before they make those big changes. And that was 2 years ago. And so then I started reading the books, and they gave me sort of hope, and they gave me a new perspective. And I kept reading and reading and reading. And I thought, oh, okay, great. I can fix myself. I can work on that, but there was something missing. And it's like you said, it's the commitment, but also it's almost like signing up for school in a way, but it's a much different kind of school. It's an actually useful school. and it's a roadmap, and it's like, and I just feel, I mean, all this work has been done for you. It would take me decades to try and break down all the stuff that this program has broken down and that you've broken down and like can guide us through. I just, like with the books, it brought me to a certain level. It was like a step in this direction, but the classes, the program is just, it's a completely different level. And I still read the books, and I still, try and learn everything I can. And you go through a lot of those books, and, you read passages and you break them down for us. So like, I think it's still important to like read that stuff. It's a completely different experience. I wouldn't be anywhere close to where I am right now if I hadn't done the program. And I'm excited to keep doing it. I was actually thinking today, like, oh my gosh, I only have like maybe 2 months left or 3 months left, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh no, yeah. But just because it's so good, it's just something that's there for you. I'm a producer, I've produced and researched things for my whole life. That's been my job in news. And this is just a very well-produced, very researched, I mean, like thousands and thousands of hours have, I'm guessing, been put in this. But for your training, all the training that you've done, Shamrit, and then the program itself, that's something that to do on your own, I think would be really, really hard. So yeah, it's just that it's the boost that you need to kind of get you to the next level if you really want change, if you're really ready for change.
Absolutely. And I want to go back to what exactly you just said, if you're really ready for change. Maybe before we go there, so I'm going to circle back to that. You said, you're sharing, feeling good became, a norm for you after you've hit that rock bottom and you've gone through this transition, and you're already seeing changes in your life. And you were just sharing some of that yesterday on our call in the program. And so maybe you can share what are the shifts that you can already recognize beyond the feeling, which is the highest purpose. But what other things can you recognize that are also shifting in your life?
Sure. So when in the beginning, so I've been working in a job that I did not like for a while. Back in the day, I did like it, but I just felt like I was trapped. I had no freedom. My hours were crazy. I was working for somebody else. It's like a freedom thing. I felt it was just, it wasn't a good experience at the end. And I kept thinking, I need something else. I need something else. I want my own business. I want to do this. So with Shamrit, I started formulating these goals, and it was like kind of helping you to, part of my thing was I didn't know exactly what I wanted. And I I stumbled across a few things on the way that I keep stumbling across. Like I'm still learning things. So one was I realized that, I was always interested in real estate and properties and fixing things up. And I settled on, I want to buy a motel. And so we were actually in contract, like under contract to buy a small motel in Vermont, which is completely different than anything I've ever done. It's super exciting. I never thought I could have done something like this, but I found all these like free advisors that helped me, small business advisors. I wrote a whole business plan with projections. We mapped out how we want to like fix the motel, like all this stuff. It's so exciting. Like, I'm becoming a business owner, and it's something I never thought I could do. And this gave me like the confidence to feel like I could make that move. It's scary, but like, again, it was really like, I feel like I have the wind at my back because of this. And then the other thing was, so I had gotten another job. I left a job that I did not like in news. I got another job in news, and I actually it was a good job, and I was going to keep it for a couple of years until I did the next thing. But they shut the company down and I got laid off. But it was sort of a blessing in disguise because I'm getting a severance, and it's giving me time now to explore other things that I really want. And they let me sign up for this. They help you with job transitioning. This is like maybe a week ago. And I'm still trying to figure out, the motel is one thing, but I need other, I want multiple sources of income. And they signed me up for this free thing. And I did this resume class. I was with this branding specialist, and there was another guy in my group, and he was working on his resume, and he didn't know how to fix it. The woman was like, you need to fix it. I don't know, blah, blah. He didn't know. And I was like, I'll fix it for you. And I fixed it, and I completely rewrote it, and we did it for him. And I talked to him and gave him like a pep talk. And he was like so thrilled. And the woman like thought I did a great job. And so she recommended me for a job at that place, which like, it was so exciting for me. Like, these are things that I never would have, thought I could do or would have thought about. And I can't work there while I'm still a client, so I have to wait a few months, but still, it's just like another opportunity, another avenue. It's just amazing. Like, things just keep kind of coming when you let it flow, and when you get in the flow and you kind of have the faith. So those are like the actual physical things that have been happening. And also because I've been more open and more, I have a better vibe, I think, or something. I'm just making more contacts. I'm making more connections. And, I feel like I'm still growing and learning and figuring out, like, your goal keeps changing and growing, and you know what I mean? And I feel like things will keep flowing. It's really exciting.
It's so exciting. It's so very exciting. And, the difference between fear and excitement, or fear and acceleration, or excitement, is so small and then so big at the same time. Like, vibrationally, these are polar opposites, right? Fear and faith, fear and excitement. And then we can shift from one to another. It's so close down here in the human level, and so big in the energetic level, that difference, right? And you've mentioned before, like, it's scary, but it's also exciting. It's scary, but it's also exciting. So can you say something to that? Like the going through the fear, taking these leaps of faith, starting a business something you've never done before, going into this program, leaving the job, like all those things that are really scary because you're stepping into literally the unknown, things that you've never done before. And it's also exciting.
Right.
And many times fear is what is holding people back from going after what they want, because it's in the way. We were just talking about this literally yesterday, right? In our call in the program. Can you say something from your experience around this shift between fear and faith, fear and excitement, doing it, feeling the fear and doing it anyway?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like, in a way, it's one of the best things you can do, but it's also one of like the hardest, scariest things to do, is to just like try and like shift your mindset a little bit and fight that paradigm. I mean, mine was so strong. It was like, I worked in a job, I did terrible hours, terrible conditions. And I kept telling myself for years and years, this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. you're the breadwinner. This is how it is. This is, and like, oh my gosh. And like, you need to work, and like, you have to pay the mortgage, and you're going to be homeless if you don't. And like, you don't want to get fired. And it was like this weird stuff I was telling myself. And, like I said before, I had kind of hit like a very low point. I lost both my parents in 7 weeks apart.
Wow.
And yeah. And, so it was like, all this, it was like at that point, everything was so dark and bad. And I was living in this situation where it was like fear and stress and anxiety. And so part of getting through that fear now is like, nothing is worse than how I felt before. And I don't ever want to go back to that. And like, no, you know what I mean? Like, if I try and fail, it still won't be as bad as how I was living before, and I just keep reminding myself, like, there's something good on the other side. It's rough and everything's not perfect, but like, you get to the other side, and you make a commitment. Even signing up for this course, I mean, that was something so far off from anything I've ever done. And I was afraid. I was like, this is, money, and this is a commitment, and, and it's the kind of thing that you just, I just had a feeling like I just have to start doing things, just, when you lose people, like suddenly, it gives you a little perspective of like, you get this one short life, like you've got to kind of, you push through. And I think you just what I did and what I learned from this program it's just knowing, like Shimri, you gave an example the other day of how you were at the terror barrier yourself. And that to me, I was like, oh my God, that's so good to know, because you know what I mean? Like, just knowing other people are in it and knowing what to expect. And like in the program, you learn that this is what you're going to come across. You're going to come across fear, and that's normal. And you just have to imagine that other side. Like you just keep using your imagination and keep tapping into it and keep imagining the next thing. So, but yeah, I think, if anything that I've learned from signing up for this and doing all this is that like life is just very short here, and you just have to take action. You just got to take action. Like, I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but like, really, what was the downside in moving forward, in setting goals, and signing up for this program, in taking risks, in, you know what I mean? Like, what was the downside? Like, it's never as bad as your worst imagination lets it be, all the fear. There was, it can kind of only go up when you take those chances and go with your gut.
Absolutely. And it's so true what you're saying, like life is so short. And, Bob always used to say, this is not a trial run. Like, this is not the trial run. This is it. This is it. And it goes by so quickly. And what have we got to lose? The worst thing that can happen is that we fail. And that's actually not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because that's how you learn and that's how you grow. And you fail your way to success. And you just got to take action exactly like that. And so that really takes us back to what I wanted to circle back to, which is, if you're ready for change, like this is something that you need to do if you're really ready for change, if you really want it. And so maybe that could be my last question is, people who are listening to this and feel like, yes, I am really ready for change, that I'm ready. But it's scary, but it's a big investment, but it's a big commitment. But if I don't know if this is going to work, all these doubts. If you have you've shared all of that already, but if you have specifically speaking to that person, like you made that decision very quickly. We got on the call. You've been following me for a while. You've watched some of the things. We got on a call and you just right there and then took action and stepped in. Mm-hmm. So from that experience and from the experience of being in the program and everything that you've shared, if you have something to say to that one person that is, listening to this, feeling that they're ready for change, they're ready for all of this, but
Yeah. I would say, this is like one of the best things you can do for yourself. This is such an opportunity. Like, I just can't. So, I mean, like I said, when I signed up for it, I'd never heard of anything like this. I didn't know like how much it would cost. Like, I mean, I had no idea. And I signed up like, okay, I just had this voice in my head, like, you just do it. Like, it's only going to help. It will only help. Like, you know, worst comes to worst, nothing happens, but like, that just won't happen. It won't happen. If you're actually ready for change and you want something different and you feel like there's something else out there that you should be doing, there's really no downside. And like, you know, to be honest, when I first signed up, before like the program actually started, I was like, what have I done? Like, am I crazy? I literally, I mean, it was like, I went through that whole like doubt and all, you know, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Am I just like being crazy now? And sure enough, like once I got into it and I, you know, followed the program, I was like, oh my God, the money I spent is like nothing, and it's nothing. And I don't have a job, you know, and it's like, I mean, it's really, it's such an investment in yourself. I think of the money that I've spent on stupid stuff, you know, and I'm not like all bent out of shape. I mean, this is life-changing. If you feel like you are at that point where you want something to change and something doesn't feel right, like, I would highly recommend it. I don't think there's really any downside to it. You will definitely learn and grow.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Eva, for coming here and for sharing.
Of course.
This is so valuable for people who are needing change, are wanting change and ready for a change, to have this confirmation and this reinforcement that it is possible, that it is there, and that there's an opportunity here. So thank you so much for coming and sharing this and your story and your
Thanks
testimony.
for having me. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Anything,
And I will see
yeah.
you again very soon.
This could help one person, I'd be so happy. So
exactly. Thank you so much for seeing this and for doing this. Thank you.